If you do not know who I am, my name is Jeremy. I am a BGR Vanguard. I do create content for Board Game Revolution. This is a live, basically a live show that we have every other Friday that showcases a couple games over a course of an hour or so. I do quick playthroughs of games. I do quick overviews of games. So please check it out. Please stick around. I'm just going to invite some people to here, get the sound in order, and then we're good to go. I'm excited. We're going to start with all Target exclusives. So this is everything you see at Target, and hopefully you like it. I'm just going to invite a couple people. And we're going. Let's see. Just add some people in here so I can talk. I like to talk to you when we're playing. Let's see here. All right, Jeremy. Oh man, I love this game too. I'm actually surprised you like this game. I'm not kidding you. I actually am pretty surprised you love it. But hello, other Jeremy. All right. So as I was saying before, a lot of people are just joining right now. Hopefully you can hear me. What we're doing is talking about a whole bunch of Target exclusives. So Wonderforge was kind enough to send me a copy of this game. So what I'm going to try to do is give you a slight overview of each character and then give you an idea of how it plays, which is fairly simple because you are walking through each step via this action symbol card. But it's important to know the goals of each character. By the way, this is all Disney stuff, and I have this little light Disney music in the background, so if it irritates you, just let me know. I'll kind of look down at the comments and let you know how I feel, how you feel about it. But basically it's like this. You'll all have all these characters. This game plays 2 to 6 players. Honestly, before we even get started with that, I would tell you, 2 players works. It's a very take that version. As you move up the player counts, you're going to have interaction, but you're going to have less kind of bully footing and stuff like that. And when you get up to the 5 and 6 player count, they actually have something that stops people from attacking each other so much until someone else attacks someone else. So it's kind of, you don't get hijacked and beat up all the time. These are the components. The components are really nice, by the way. Real solid stuff. Honestly, for a game that you see at Target, you wouldn't think it'd be this high quality, but outside of this super plastic thing, it's still a nice aesthetic to it. Each character, from each one, this is from Little Mermaid, this is Ursula, this is Captain Hook, from Peter Pan. I mean, look at these things. Yeah, you got Jafar from Aladdin, and they kind of look like the characters, which is kind of neat. So I really do enjoy that they went all in on this, man. Wonderforge, they really went all in on this. So, and I don't know Wonderforge for anything else. So if you do know Wonderforge for something else, please let me know in the comments, because I have no idea what other games they make. As you can tell, I slightly did some research. So there you go. By the way, this is the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland. Thank you for the like. And then you have, what's the name? Prince John from Robin Hood. And then Maleficent. And we know Maleficent. Man, by the way, Angelina Jolie, probably the last good role she played. So anyway, I think if you agree, please hit the like on that one, man. It's been a while since she's had a good movie. Anyway, each one of these characters has an asymmetric deck. And I'll be honest with you, they're not as asymmetric as you think, but we'll kind of get through that because each character has their own winning conditions. So we'll go through each one of these. I'll show you how a board works and everything. So we have Maleficent here. And Maleficent, her goal is to basically put curses everywhere. She has sorry, move this to the side. Sorry, I want to keep all these sets in screen for you so you can see all the game. Each one of these locations has 4 little actions that you can do. You can do all or none or one, but they also have location bottoms and tops. The bottoms go for your allies, the tops go for your enemies or heroes, okay? And then you have the objective. By the way, each villain comes with their own objective explanation of the cards, which is a really, really solid way to introduce a game to novice gamers, and even just as a whole, because of course you have a lot of questions and you're like, what does this card mean? They do a really good job of explaining, and more importantly, they do a great job of explaining the progression of how you reach the objective for each character. So that's very important. So what's the objective of Maleficent? Maleficent is a character that has to have curses at all 4 of her locations. So one thing about Maleficent is that she has these awesome curses, okay, that she can play, and they're very simple. But when you play them, and you play them at the bottom of your play area, at each location, they're very easy to get rid of if you fulfill certain conditions. So sometimes it's just putting another card that counteracts that. Sometimes it's just putting up heroes that dispel what she's doing. But it's actually pretty difficult to pull this off. It's all about timing, but that's her objective, okay? She also has, and every character deck has like their counter. So these are going to be the people that disrupt what she does. They're also going to block actions at each location. So I'll show you that as we get through the game. But I just want to show you just the cards and what they do. We have all the heroes from each one of these games, and I love it. I just love it. The artwork, I'm not even sure if this is actually frame by frame stuff, but it's just beautiful to look at, okay? So what do these do, these allies? They actually, all these characters, they do have protection that you have to fight if you're lined up with them, and you only can beat them up if you have allies that can do the same thing, and you activate the kind of like the attack action. It's called Vanquish. But I just wanted to show you these. I'll just keep going through the motivations. Prince John. Prince John, his goal is for power. He is hunger and greed. He needs to get 20 of these powers, okay? How does he do that? He has cards that are really, really powerful and generate money, okay? So his power. He has a couple cards in his deck, and of course he has his little partners. This is villainous, sir. Christopher, this is villainous. He has cards that generate power. Unlike any other characters, he also has locations that are in his play area that generate money. But the problem is, he also has the Robin Hood thieves who take his money really fast. It also costs him a lot more money to use these guys. They're very expensive, so they're like 2s, 3s, 1s. These chip away at your power, so he's got to kind of risk it all. That's his deck, and also, as you notice, I'm talking about the playboards. The playboards actually play into what that character is in the game. Now, the Queen of Hearts, absolutely amazing mechanic. This right here, I mean, if you know the Queen of Hearts, you know, the off with his head thing. So you actually have to line up, okay? You have to line up the cricket situation, and I'll show you like this. So you have these these spade guys, and when you play them, and you play a power card, I'm just gonna move this over here. I'm going to slide this down so you can see. Hopefully you can see there. Okay. What's really cool about her is that she has to get all these guys and use them and activate them and get them lined up like this. Okay. So she's got to play them, and then she's got to activate them. And then when she gets them all lined up perfectly, she has to take a shot, okay? She has to take a cricket shot, all right? And then when she does this cricket shot, she actually has to draw 5 cards. And then if this power, this amount, is less than these guys, their total, so this is 5, 7, 10. So I have 2, 3, 4, 7. I'm good. She hits the shot, game over. Okay, so that's a very, very interesting mechanic. I love these characters. Now, these characters don't have any block spots. They're kind of the easier ones to use, sort of. But as you notice, lining up things. Okay, so I'm kind of talking about the asymmetry here. Okay, so lining things up, generating power. Okay, now don't get me wrong, they're very thematic. The items are thematic. The characters you're fighting against are thematic. But you're going to see some similarity in what I'm talking about here. Now, the other side has characters. Oh, geez. Sorry. I got wires everywhere. Sorry. All right, let's move this over here. Try to do it safely. One sweet day, man, I will get a bigger house and a bigger table. All right, so here we go. So now we have what I call the 3 blockade characters. So these characters are blocked. They're basically blocked, one by a spot location. So some characters, these first 3 on the left, they don't have blocked spots. Each one of these characters starts out with a location blocked, okay? And I'll explain how each one works so that you get an idea of what I'm talking about and why this is significant. Because each turn you gotta move, and these actual things, you can't move them until you unlock them. And I'll explain them. So I'm gonna start with the top with Jafar. Jafar, of course, is from Aladdin, and his goal is to get the lamp and control the genie. So he has this thing called Scarab's Pendant. So what happens is, and a lot of these characters do the same thing, when they get this card, they activate something from the hero deck. And when he does that, he brings out Peter Pan. So Peter Pan he brings out he brings out his the genie. And they also have all the other things from here, so the genie can help people, help them lose power. They have different ones that beat up the guards. Notice right here, we have allies. By the way, allies cover the top, so when you go to these locations, you can't commit to doing these until you beat them. So you have all these wonderful characters. By the way, just the art is just amazing. Like I said, I don't know if it's a straight rip from the game, but there you go. Just want you to know that. So when he pulls out the genie, then he has to play a specific card to put him in a trance. And then when he puts him in a trance, he moves him from right to left in the last location, and then he wins the game. These things are very easy because they really teach you the same fundamentals, but everybody has their own way of doing it. So same thematic touch as far as mechanics. Here we go. So now we have Captain Hook. Captain Hook has a whole bunch of cards where, of course, he produces his little guys, you know, like he has his own little troops, and I'm sorry, not troops, but pirates, his fellow pirates. And definitely has a lot more active attack cards. They also have effect cards. When certain things come into play, he'll have a reaction to them. All characters have their version of it, but he's trying to pull this map out. So once he finds the map, he can expose Peter Pan. Peter Pan, of course, you got all the little crew there, little John and all that stuff. Peter Pan can undo some of his things and kind of confuse him, but he unleashes Peter Pan. When he unleashes Peter Pan, which he does by activating that card, all of a sudden, this goes away, Peter Pan comes out, and then you slowly move him to the left, and guess what? You win the game. That is Captain Hook. Now, finally, we have Ursula. Ursula is a kind of a movement bash person. She's my favorite character of them all because she has such powerful movements. So her job, her big thing is moving people around and then attacking them and getting rid of them. Like she has very, what do they call that? Like kind of heavy, intentional movements, and then they end up destroying the cards, destroying the heroes. Now, what that means is she's doing the same thing. She pulls out what's called a trident. So the trident is, maybe I didn't find it, but she pulls out a trident. And she has binding contracts, so she has these contracts that move people around, and when they move to that specific location, they die. So I love those. Of course, she has the different beasts and things like that, but let's see here. There we go, the trident. So the trident reveals the King Triton. He comes out, you destroy him, you fight him and destroy him and move him to a certain place, and then you win the game. So it's pretty simple. Like I said, it's pretty simple. You're doing these things six different ways with different decks that do different things, but very much play a card that unleashes things and then move them over to win the game. These over here, a little bit more dynamic. Line things up, finish a final task. Line things up, gain power. So if you want somebody to learn the game, definitely want to do Little John, because Little John is just gain power. That's all. Do you have any questions about Villainous? All the things that I'm talking about are very translatable in each location. I would go through that, but I want to keep it moving because I have a lot of games to talk about tonight. But if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'm all about that. I'm going to move this stuff out of the way, and then we'll move to the next game. Hold on one sec. All right. I think the next one's going to be a small game. This one is called Dude. Okay. Dude is absolutely ridiculous game. So Dude is by North Star Games. It's like $10.99 at Target, and they have More Dude as well. So they have Dude and More Dude. And this game is so silly. So I'm just going to kind of go through a quick overview of it. So what happens is, and this plays up to 6 players, I believe. So when you go to this, everybody has a deck of 12 cards. Okay, so everybody has a deck, 12 cards, and you know what they all say on them? You know what they all say on them? They all say dude, okay? They all say dude, and they say dude a couple different ways. So what you're doing on your turn, and everybody will have their own deck that has the same thing that's going on here. So what'll happen is you, when the game starts and everybody's doing this in real time, everybody's just doing this, you will say, and it should just be a dude fest. Like everybody's just saying, dude, 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 dude. Well, what you're listening for when you say, dude, or you say, dude, or dude, or dude, dude, you're looking for somebody to replicate what you're saying. So I'm looking for somebody who says, dude, okay? I'm looking for guys who say that, or I'll say, dude, all right? You want to make sure that you're kind of getting that across, because when somebody says exactly the same thing you are, then you're going to say, sweet, you know, sweet, and then you're going to keep going back and forth, and if you're correct, you get to get rid of the card. Okay? That card is actually going to be scoring. You'll keep going. If you can't find anybody who has the same thing, you move over like this. It's basically a big dude fest. It's completely silly. If you saw The Big Lebowski, you would know what this is. It's a very fun little stupid game. I'll be honest with you. You can probably open this up when you're with your family and friends, or just use it as a silly opener for game night. I actually use this on anybody I can trick into playing this game. It's 5 minutes max, maybe 10 minutes max. So take a look at that one. That one is Dude, the Dude game, okay? Completely silly. Why not? Okay, that's how I see it. Why not? And they have it's not an expansion. It's just another one. It's called More Dude. So they have Dude and More Dude. One's got this. It looks like this, and the other one has like a tie-dye look to it. You might want to check it out. That one's at Target. It's $10.99. I like this game a lot. I like this game a lot because you never can have enough games that are silly. And the reason why you can never have enough games that are silly is because people don't, you know, not everybody plays games like us. You know, not everybody looks for the new hotness. So that's Dude by North Star Games. Shout out to Bruce for that one. Bruce Vogue from North Star Games. I love that guy. He's awesome. Let's see here. The next one. All right. This is Ticket to Ride New York. Ticket to Ride New York is probably the only Ticket to Ride game I will ever own. Okay? I'm not a huge Ticket to Ride fan, but I do suggest it to people who are newer to games. I do suggest it to families. Target has a Ticket to Ride Junior, but I think this might be better. So I'll just show you why. It's very quick to learn. It's very quick finish. Matter of fact, 2 veterans of this who just like to play Ticket to Ride, this could go in like 5 minutes. Like, you could play this at a speed pace and be done. I'm serious. This is a very, very easy game to learn and play. What you're trying to do is complete routes. Now, if you've never played Ticket to Ride, I'm just going to explain it to you just a little bit like a layman, and then I'll kind of speed it up. What you're trying to do is complete routes. As you see the colors right here, I'm just going to move this down just a tad. Okay, as you see the colors right here, move that up a tad too. All right, there we go. All right, how's everybody doing out there? Okay, I just want to make sure everybody's doing good. Okay, let me see here. How did you like Dude, by the way? Okay. So, what you have is a deck of cards. Okay, players will have cards in their hand. On their turn, they can grab up to 2 cards from the deck over here. They can only grab, if this is the first card they grab, the wild card. Okay, they can only grab that card. They can grab 1 regular card, or they can grab any one of these regular cards. A card comes out immediately, or they can grab this as their second card. A little trick to that. Then your turn's over. Boom. Okay, or they can claim a route. So I'm going to simulate just one of the other player, and then I'll play these 2 blue. Okay, so I play the 2 blue, and I can actually do this 2 blue route. Okay, I can only play a route if I can actually finish the route. Very, very easy concept. That's why kids really clean up on this game, because they see the success of it right away. And even novice gamers like Ticket to Ride. I think a lot of people like Ticket to Ride. It's just too long. So I like this. I like the feel of this. It's very easy. What are you trying to do? You're trying to complete routes and score points. The points are scored based on these. So on your turn, you may also have the option of, so you have picking cards, you have fulfill the routes, and then you also have the ability to draw these map cards. And these are like your mission cards. You'll start the game out with 2, but it'll also tell you, hey, these are the cards, this is the mission you have, this is the mission you have, and you want to finish these before the end of the game, otherwise you lose points, but hey, this is how you score points. This is the majority of how you score points in the game. You can have multiple ones, but also at the end of the game, and the end of the game ends when you only have 2 of these left. So you notice how I played both of these? I played those 2, now I only have 2 left. That ends the game. And it's got a cool little score mechanic. So if you can kind of see down here, there's a scoring track, and let's say it like this, every 2 route I have, I get 2 points for. Every 3 route I have, I get 4 points for. And then if I connect with any place that has a 1 point, I score a point as well. So it's got a nice little score mechanic. It's very easy. I think anybody could, what I call, own the knowledge of this game. I don't think it's very hard to learn. It's also at a very comfortable price. I believe it's $20, maybe $15. So whenever you see those Target sales where they have the, it's like 25 off 50. If you have a Target Red card, I always tell people get the Target Red card. It can attach to your debit card. That's not promotion. I'm just saying it's something you can do. You can get a lot of money off these games, and I usually buy a couple when those sales come up. But that is Ticket to Ride New York. What's up, Paco? All right. Now I'm going through some random ones because I want people to see some games that are a little different, a little bit off the cuff, because I don't think people, I think we kind of have that, that crowd mentality. We see things and we kind of like, hey, I want that too. And we don't kind of skim through the ones that are different. This is Spirit of the Wild. Now, I found out about this game at Gen Con. I watched it. I was watching those live streams, and man, I was like, this game is really interesting. So if you're ever looking for a 2-player game, I suggest we start here. So I'll tell you why. You can get an idea of what I'm talking about. So you have these little spirit stones. There's stones all in here. I believe there's 5 of each color. And what you're trying to do is put your little stone things in these little slots, these little set collection slots. And when you put them in these set collection slots, you gain a certain amount of points. So starting at the top here, same color pair. So you get 3 if you have, let's say, 2 reds, 2 blues, or whatever. But you get double points if you put one of these clear things in here. So let's just say, for example, if I had these, that would be 3 points, and then it'd be times 2, that'd be 6. Okay, so that's a thing. Then you have 3 different colors 3 different colors, and you get 6 points. If you do that, it's 12. So you see, it's a very easy game. Another game that you can definitely play in a couple situation with your children. It teaches a really basic set collection kind of thing. You have, let's see, I'm sorry. You have a 3 of a kind, 5 of a kind. You also have 1 of each color, which is a very interesting one to pull off, but the points are a big payoff and whatnot. Okay, so what do you do on your turn? And this is really simple. Both players have the same cards, okay? So on your turn, each player will be kind of looking at each other. They'll actually be across from each other, and you can play one of your cards. So you would take 2 stones. You take 2 stones, you place those 2 stones. You have take 1 stone, take 1 stone, okay? You have, let's see, take 1 stone, you have 2 of those. Okay, so you have 2 take 1 stones. By the way, while I'm distracting you, why don't you take a look at that picture down there? I'm going to talk about that. And then you add 2 stones and take 1. Okay, so add 2 stones and then you take 1. And everything you take is going to go to the board, okay? So I'm just going to kind of start filling up this board for the heck of it. Okay, I'm going to start building up this board. I'm going to put that in a pair. Let's do this. 3 of a kind. Let's do that. And then we'll do 1 of each color. Okay, like that. Okay, and just for the heck of it, wow, a lot of purple's coming out, huh? No other colors in the world, right? All right, and then you have the add 3 stones and move the coyote. Now, the coyote is the kicker to this game. Small little things that make this game very interesting. This coyote actually stops people from placing things there for a round until you move the coyote. It can happen 2 different ways. This coyote is put there when you play that card, or dig this. Look at that. When you put these 2 things together, they make the coyote, and you can use that move to put it over there, okay, in any one of those spots. That is pretty freaking cool. I just little thing. And then you finally have a card that refreshes your cards. Until you play 3 of these, you can't switch it. So then you have this card here, and it makes it so you can refresh all your cards. So you refresh all your cards, and then you grab these spirits. Now this just shows you how beautiful the game is. Hold on a second, let me have a little drink. This is where the coolness comes in. All right, so you have all these little spirit guys. So it's kind of like when you refresh, a spirit comes out. Okay, there's usually 2 of them out, 2 different equal stacks. You get to choose 1. So you're taking 2 stones from the bag. You have all these different effects that go on. So it keeps things in your hand. It keeps the game moving. This game is about 15 minutes, okay? But what it does is it keeps things in the bowl. It keeps you pulling things out. And then the game is over. Like when you fill this stuff, when the bag's cleared, the game is over. This is a very, very good game. Definitely, I mean, like, I swear to you, I like games like this because this goes in a backpack. I could take this stuff out. I can pack that up. Easy. Perfect. Okay? I like games I can travel with. People always ask me for suggestions of games you can travel with. This is one of those games. Anybody have any questions about Spirits of the Wild? It is $15 at Walmart. I'm just saying this stuff because I want you to know how much the stuff costs. This is not a sponsored game. This is my money, so I want you to know that. Because this is a cool little game. So much clutter and ridiculousness. All right. Now this game that I'm going to show you now is coming out in October. It is not out yet. But Big G Creative was very, very, very kind to show this to me. And I really want to share this with you. Because, you know what's funny is a game like this, when you see the movie license, you go, yeah, dude, I'm good, right? Like right away, you're like, yeah, dude, I'm good. Like I'm really good right now. You don't have to do this, okay? So I understand that. But this game is really, really nice. And the reason why it's really cool is because it's so quick, it's easy to learn. And, you know, this is another 2-player game that can be played cooperatively. And you know what? That's perfectly fine. One group will play Kevin. One person will play Kevin, and the other ones will play the robbers. The goal is to, as Kevin, is to protect your home. You don't want to run. You don't want to run out of cards. You want them to run out of cards. You also don't want them to gain 2,000 points. I think it's 2,100, maybe not 2,000. You don't want to gain $2,100. So what you're doing is on every turn, you will disclose 3 items. Okay. You will show the character, you'll show them 3 items. You'll kind of show them how, you know, kind of put it how you want to. There's a little game within the game there. Place them at these 3 places. Okay. If you notice, there are 3 locations in the house. I'm going to move this stuff back so you can see. Okay. Now this is coming to the stores in October. So they wanted me to kind of get this across to you to make sure you know about it. I think it's going to be $20. All right, so this is Kevin's cards. I think it's 5. Let's see here. So Kevin has trap cards. Okay, he has some cards with a bucket on top of it. That's a little trap thing. I'll show you what that means in a second. So this is basically how it works. These little light bulbs present things from these guys, from the robbers, that they have to pay in order to get rid of this card. What happens is I will play a card to a location, and I can play up to 3 at any location, like that. Now what it also means is if they can't pay this, then they have to give cards from their hand. Some of these will actually say, hey, you have to give cards from your hand and from your deck. Remember, they can't run out of the cards in their deck. And part of the game is actually for them to draw cards, so they have to draw cards. They're going to get put under pressure. You can't run out of cards either, but that's it. So when you put these cards down, let me just kind of put them randomly here. You don't have to play all of them. You can hold them until next round, but I'm just going to show you just for the sake of it. So the robbers. All right, so the robbers will try to enter the house. Okay, and since this one looks a little easy, take a look at these location cards. So these little location areas, they have little indicators too. So before I even enter here, I have to play a card from my hand, and I have to play discard a card from my deck. So I discard that card, and then I also play a card. So I'll play, I'll get rid of that one. Okay, so what happens is then I flip this over because I want to go here. So I enter here. It says I need a blue and a red. So I play a blue and a red. Okay, and since I finished that one, I get the card. So I get $200. Great. Okay, now I have to decide whether I want to keep going or not. I don't know what's in there. I'm a little worried, but I'll go anyway, right? So I'll kind of play idiot here. Let's see. Ooh, red, green. I made it, but he has a little token. I mean, he has a little pail here. So you roll this die, and when you roll the die, oh man, beautiful. Oh no, this happened to me in my first game. If he rolls nothing, you don't do anything, so we can keep going. If he rolls any of these, I have to pay that. Okay, so if I played this, I rolled this green, I would have to play that green. Okay, I'm gonna risk it. Green and blue, I can't do it. It says I need to draw 3 cards from my hand. I don't have 3 cards. That is the round. So what's the little wrinkle to the game? Okay, so as you can see, this is a very, very easy game to learn. There are a couple things that are in the robber's favor. Okay, there are sets. Okay, so they have a little set collection to it. If you have certain things and you collect sets, it multiplies what you're doing. So as you can see, if you have 3 stereo components, now it's $1,200, not $300. They have a lock and key. There's a lock and key in here somewhere. Key to safe. Yeah, it is. It's Bryce. It's very easy and quick. So if you have this, safe, and later on you get the key to the safe, you actually get more money. So it's kind of like a little, you know. Once again, I am not going to go crazy and say, oh, this is too easy, super light. I'm going to say there's room for super light games. There's room for light games that are easy for people to learn. And you know what? People like Home Alone, okay? That's just flat out the truth. People like Home Alone. I like Home Alone. It's under my what I call perfect movie category. It doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't bother anybody. You either like it or you don't, okay? You might giggle. That's what I tell people. You might giggle. Don't worry about it. This game is coming out in October. I think it might make a great Christmas gift, or it's just something to show off at Thanksgiving to play with people and get a good laugh. Of course, all the cards have the pretty the Kevin Oh No on that. But I really enjoy this game. We were a little surprised. I will tell you, if you're looking for this to be like a powerhouse in your collection, probably won't be. I estimated, I would say about after 5 times, you just know the game. So this is definitely one that's a lighter family game. Any questions about Home Alone? Once again, I would just seriously wait for a good sale on this one, or it's going to be easy to find. It's like I said, $15 is pretty cheap. A lot of the games at Target are really good price points. Speaking of which, so that was sponsored by Big G Creative. Thank everybody over there for that one. Monster Crunch. Breakfast battle. Monster Crunch. Monster Crunch. All right. Bryce is a little excited here in the chat. Like it. Thank you so much for showing up. And let me grab these components. As I said, I'm in a kind of a human disaster area right now. All right, here we go. So we have each one. Hey, by the way, man, if you ate Monster cereal when you were a kid, which one was your favorite? Now, I knew who Count Chocula was. I know Frankenberry, but I couldn't afford Frankenberry. We had like some kind of like Roundy's version. By the way, if you know Roundy's, give a thumbs up. If you can relate to the Roundy's generic brands, you're probably, if you're a Midwesterner, you know what I'm talking about. Give a thumbs up. Let's see here. So each one of these characters, and what you're trying to do is over 3 rounds, you will play cards from your hand. And you're trying to get rid of your cards. I mean, you're trying to retain your cards as much as possible and score points. Each character has a player power, and these can be used once per game. So if you're, for example, swap 1 card from your hand. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to go through the actual gameplay. And then there's also milk tokens. Milk tokens make it easier for you to play cards on your turn, and I'll show you how those work. What will happen is everybody will have their own deck. They're not asymmetrics. You are just shuffling your 12 cards. I mean, you're at 36 cards. There are 3 sets of 1 through 12. Okay. So you're shuffling your cards. And I'm just going to blind play everybody's deck here in a little bit here and see how I do. All right. So I'm going to do like that. So I want to play cards and maybe start low, maybe not. Okay, so I'm going to play 2. And I can only play 1 card unless I do something else. So I'm just going to show you that. Now that each player has to beat 2 or play 2. So I'll play above 2. I'm going to go to 4. Why not? All right. Let's see. Then I have Boo Berry. Boo Berry's got 4. It's going to play 5. All right. And then Count Chocula is going to play. He is going to play 5 too. Why not? Now, you know, a lot of card games, if you play the same number as the player that's playing, you have a skip. Not in this game. I'm sure you've played a couple card games like that. If you played Custom Heroes last year, that was kind of a thing. Oh, this guy's got some aggressive hand. So here we go. He has 9, okay? So I'm going to go back to this hand here. Let's see. Now, I don't have anything to do this, but I'll just show you what you can do to one-up this. Let's see. Okay, yeah, here we go. Okay, so when I play a milk token, and everybody starts out with 1, when you play this milk token, you can combine cards. So you can combine cards like this and do the same card, or you can use consecutive numbers. So let's say if I did have 5, oh, I can do 5, 6. Actually, I can do 5, 6. I can use consecutive cards to make my number larger. So the current number I have to beat is 9. I would play consecutive numbers, 5 and 6, to make 11. And then we just keep going around. We can even do, if I play 2 milk tokens, I could do 5, 6, 7, or I could do 3 card numbers. And the idea is to get as many of your cards from that 12 cards that you initially draw on this deck right here. You want them on there. And everybody's gonna want as many cards as they want on there. They can get on there in that round. Because the first person who gets rid of 12 cards, that ends the round. These go into scoring. The ones that don't make it go into the discard pile. They don't score. And everybody else gets to score whatever they have out here. When the player passes, the other players who can't play or they're out of the round, they all get milk tokens. So let's say that player won. Everybody gets a milk token. So it has its own nice little catch-up mechanism to it. And each character has player powers. So I know that looks kind of like a little disaster here. But you can play these once per game. Okay, so they all have a way of manipulating before a turn is played and one after. A little tricky, okay? So if you're looking to play this, let's just say with little kids and you don't feel like they can get it, you don't have to use these. You can just play with these. Teach them the ladder game. That's called ladder mechanics. So if you want to check that out, very, very easy to understand. So they'll go through the ladder mechanic. That's simple enough. Some of these just manipulate the deck. Move cards out, so draw 2 cards. It gets more cards in your hand so you can have a more combative hand. Play a single card. This card's value is counted as double, so you don't use as many milk tokens. Let's see, Count Chocula, place 1 card in your scoring pile back in the milk box, then take 1 milk token. So this is a good way to actually get more cards out by sacrificing a card and maybe playing another combo. Until next round, players must play equal to a lowered. So this actually goes backwards. I love the ones that go backwards. This one right here is tricky. Okay, this right here can end a round real quick. Okay, choose even or odd until the next round. Players may only play this card of this type. This one is a really tricky one. It tore our game up the last time I played this at game night. But this is it. Until you go to the end of your 36 cards, so there are some powers that actually take away cards. You go through all of that. And when you get done, the player with the most cards in their scoring pile wins. The discard cards are gone, and this is what you have left. You count your score. I think the first time I played this, I actually got 33 cards. I was quite impressed with myself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Not a bad score. I probably would kick your butt if you had that score. But that is Monster Crunch Breakfast Battle Game. This game is actually going to come to Target. On Sunday. Sorry, I had to move my cat. He was about to knock over my board for the 3rd time tonight. This is Monster Crunch Battle. It hits the stores on August 26th. So if you're interested in this one, I believe the MSRP is $19.99. I would like to thank Big Creative G for hooking me up with this one. You'll probably see it reviewed on our BGR YouTube channel very soon. It'll go just like that. Probably a lot more organized and not so ugly that looks like that. But that is Monster Crunch Breakfast Battle Game. It is a ladder card game. Pretty cool, okay? I'm going to go ahead and swipe all this off the table. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments below. And I can maybe give you a quick Q&A on that one because I really want to make sure I do it justice. Quality pieces. Real thick cards. Thick boards. The cards are not all slippy. Matter of fact, they're kind of like a slick, bendy thing situation. So I want to just check those out. I mean, I'm going to check this game out. What I've been surprised by with these Target games. Oh, thanks for stopping by, Bryce. I'm very impressed with the quality of these games. Now, I don't know Nyctophobia. I don't own Megaland and all these, but I mean, where this is going right now, they've redone the Target section. Right after Gen Con, they had like a full release of Gen Con games, and I'm just really overall impressed with the situation that's going on there over at Target. And I hope they keep doing it. Moving into the holiday, I honestly think they have a big surprise that that they're probably going to announce. And then people will be able to go to the stores and grab it right away. And I don't think Target employees are ready for all of us to come in their ratings. As a matter of fact, I went and asked about this game because I was going to do a giveaway for it. And people were like, it's here, I don't know where it's at. And they were very kind to me, but they just didn't know where it's at. But shout out to Target people because they're actually helpful. Okay, that is not the last game. The last game tonight is very, very, very interesting. Okay. By the way, shout out to Daryl Andrews. You might know him from a little game called Sagrada. Okay, might know him from a little game called Sagrada. The indie game, the small game that nobody's ever heard of. This is Oregon Trail by Pressman Games. Pressman Games is responsible for the very terrible Oregon Trail game. And before we get started, I have to say this. This game is Pioneer Days. This game is Oregon Trail. Now, very similar in theme, but this game is a Euro game. This is a Euro game, heavy resource management, Euro placement, dice manipulation, all kinds of stuff is going on. The dice track is really interesting. You're collecting people and gathering resources. Disaster events happen over a course of a 90-minute game. This is not a fluff game, as I tell people. It's not true to the Oregon Trail thing. It just sort of plays like it. And believe me, it's one of my favorite games of all time. But that's not why I'm here to talk about it. I just want you to know about this. It's awesome, but it's not like straight in line with Oregon Trail. It is pretty close though, okay? Pretty close. So if you're looking for a more medium weight game, medium weight Euro type game with awesome dice and choices with the dice, this is the one. Now, that doesn't mean that this game is lesser. I'm just going to show you what it's like because it is almost an exact replica of Oregon Trail. Like, it is pretty much exactly like Oregon Trail. So I'm going to go ahead and slide this down. Now, this game is a little bit more on the pricey side. It is by Pressman Games. Like I said, plays 2 to 4 players. And what you're doing, sorry for the dice being all over the place. My cat decided to go full on attack on my situation here. Okay. How y'all doing tonight, man? Thanks for sticking around and hanging out with me while I explain these games. You know, I love doing this. I love working with BGR, and you know, we're trying to provide good content for you, engaging games and things like that, and provide some consistency. We have a couple groups out there that are doing live plays, and I love them all, but we want to give you something similar and something different. So thank you for joining us. If you like what we're doing, please go ahead and give us a like. We really do appreciate that. I like to see everybody in the chat. Nothing wrong with interacting. I'll get off this computer. I'll slide over here to the computer and answer your questions. Well, let's get to Oregon Trail. In Oregon Trail, people will move from the left side of the board to the right side of the board. Let me see if I can, let's just take this down a little bit. Okay, let me just take this down a tad. I want to get a little closer so you can see what's going on here, because this game, the cool thing about it is how thematic it is. You know, like some games are so thematic that you worry that like they're trying too hard to be true to form. This game is not. It is almost silly. It's almost too close to the best of Oregon Trail, but I'll show you why. Okay, so I have my guy here. Did she knock it off? Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna move these up. So essentially, Oregon Trail is a race. I'm gonna lay these sideways so you know where I am for context. Okay, you have the blue player over here and the orange player over here. I'm gonna open this box real quick. Probably should have done that, and show you a player board. What you're looking at is on the player board, the actual family is these dice, okay? And they start out at 5, and of course, over the course of the game, they will die. This one, yes, they will die. This little block right here is actually how people stay alive and can keep going. Because even if you lose all your family members, you can keep going. This is like the driver, and the driver never dies. What happens every turn is a course of bad events and things that are really, really difficult that make it hard for you in your journey. Just like the Oregon Trail. I remember when I played that. I believe I played it on, what was it? Was that Apple IIe, I think it was? Does anybody remember where Oregon Trail started? Maybe it wasn't Atari, it wasn't a video game system. I think it was computer. Commodore, maybe? Commodore? Commodore computer, Commodore, not 64, Commodore. But yeah, if you know in the comments below, please hit me up on that one because I don't remember what the heck it is. But anyway,
you have all these different tiles, and everybody has 2 tiles because they start the game with 2 tiles because they have 2 oxen. This guy happens to have 3 oxen because he has an extra oxen. So you see 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's a thing. That's an upgrade. So I have these 2 tiles, and there's different types of tiles. These tiles have routes on them. They have water. So this is a water one. When you try to cross it, you can either sit on your turn or move across by rolling a die. I'll kind of get to that. You have winter tiles that could hurt you. This is a fort. Let's see. I just grabbed a couple, so let's see. And let's see. This one here has weather. This one has a hunting tile, so this is where you can hunt. And this one here is the town. Okay, so I'll kind of walk through all of them, but we'll go through it. What you're doing on your turn, and turns are very, very easy. This game is very easy to learn. So the first thing you do is lay tiles. Now, when you lay a tile, you're laying it so you can get off to the race. If you notice over here on the left, and this is I'm going to kind of tread over here. I'll tread on my own situation here. If you look at over here, there's actually like a route. If you can see like that little road. If you move, eventually if you move, you want to lay things that help you move, but you don't want to make your opponents move as fast as you do. So when you lay these tiles, you can lay them anywhere in the current column, as long as you have 2 in that column. So I can actually lay out now into the next one because I have 2 there. But I want to move. So if I want to move, I'm going to put something there that I know I can move to. Okay? And then I will, and that's called Discover a Trail. Now I'll draw a calamity card. So here you go. This is straight up Oregon Trail right here. So I'm just going to show you a couple of them. I'll move this back. Okay, I'm going to show you some. Oh, the mech. Okay, here we go. Whoa. Whoa, sir. All right, so you have the dysentery card. Okay, let's get that giggle out of the way. It's in there. Nice job, Daryl. When you have a calamity card, by the way, it always has something that will happen to you at the end of your turn. So there's always a way out. So dysentery, a family member will die unless you're spending medicine, okay, or you're reaching a fort. So that's you're guaranteed that a family member is just going to flat out die. That the die is going to be removed. Boom. Okay, they will die. By the way, that's a tombstone, and I'll show you what happens when they die. See some other calamities. There are some good ones in here, but they're very few. So sabotage, you have your wagon, you lose a wagon, get damage here, and you're damage to your wagon. So like this extension right here, actually, this extension would be destroyed if you had one. Let's see, there's a couple other ones in here. Broken leg, you lose health on your die, so now you're losing pips on your die. Okay, so you're losing pips on your die. Like I said, health. Lots of calamity issues happen. Pickpocket, you lose money. Let's see. War and clothes. Gain 1 winter clothes. This is important. I'll show you why. But yeah, there's just a lot of different things here. Dead oxen, one of your oxen, additional oxen dies. Free wagon extension. So there are a couple good ones in there, but those are a range of things. You can find food. You can find hunting gear, things like that. Going back to the player board, you have an automatic shotgun pellet. That will stay with you no matter what, too. Okay, so we're just going to keep going on the turn. We had a calamity card. We drew a calamity card. Our calamity card is going to be this, dysentery. That's unfortunate. We need to save a family member. We need medicine bad. Okay, so what you're doing is you can move along a road. I'm going to move along the road. I get 3 actions on my turn. I'm going to move here. That's 1. And if I want to cross a river, I can either stay right there and end my actions, or I can roll. And if I get more than a 2, I get to go past that. Okay. Now, if I was on, let's say, one of these tiles with the hunting gear, the hunting is done like this. Now, there's a distribution of animals in here, and they're from 1 to 6. This is the nifty part of the game. I think this is actually like the coolest part of the game, without a doubt. You can place the little guys in these little target areas, and then you can place the big ones, which is equal to 4, in between these 2. So if you shoot with a little guy, it's on that target. The number has to be on that target. If you do this, you get to have 2 or 3. You do not lose these ever, even if you make or miss. So what happens is the other players will draw a card for you. They'll flip it, and if you have it, which I did not, okay, you would not shoot. You can take another action to shoot again. I think I had 2-3. So yes, I have 2-3. So now I would get 2 meat for my family. And I can't fit it in there, but we'll just kind of fake it here. You can fit it. These guys can fit up to 4. So you definitely need room, okay? I think that's pretty interesting. But you can also cross the river, move along the road. Now when you move, here's another thing. This is a route, like I said. This is actually one movement to move through the route. So you notice how far I traveled? That's one move, just because the road is continuous. As a matter of fact, this road actually goes all the way to here, Lord, okay? So that's actually to an advantage. You want to go back, you want to find these things. And I ended up in a fort. So let's talk about the fort. When the fort is revealed, and this is a tile you reveal, all the actual power-ups come out. So this is poison. So I probably want to pay for poison at the fort. That all costs $100 a piece. So I would pay $100 and I would get my poison because I need that for my family member. And then I would be out of this situation with this dysentery. That's pretty good, right? And then I can buy as much as I want to buy, add calamity, blah, 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 avoid calamity, blah, blah, blah. So these free actions, you can use medicine to heal anybody. You can do anything that heals people, sets them up for success or whatever. But at the end of your turn, you have to resolve a calamity. So if I didn't have this, a family member would just flat out die. If I did, and I can pay that, that doesn't happen, okay? Then I have to feed my family, and this is the Oregon Trail part. I have 2 food. I can feed them. I can feed 2 people. Okay, so I can feed these 2 die, I'm good to go. But I can't feed these 2, so I'm going to allow, matter of fact, I'd probably want to allow this guy to go down a pip. Whoa, geez. This guy to go down a pip, and this one to go down a pip, just so I can keep people alive. All right, that's pretty much a turn, okay? Other tiles that do things to you. When you go to a winter tile, you will get hit if you do not have one of these, and this is winter clothes. It takes up one of your full slots, but if you don't have winter clothes in your thing, if I didn't have these, they all go down 1 pip. So you actually lose 1 health. That's a thing, okay? So that's a thing. If you go to a fort, okay, so if you start off in these towns and forts with cold weather, you're good to go. You won't get hurt. But this right here is a hitchhiker. Hitchhikers, let's say one of your family members is gone, and I'll kind of explain what happens. If you ever have a free slot, which you will when family members die, you will, you can pick up a hitchhiker, and it helps you score points at the end of the game. So losing people is not all bad. So you just get an idea of that. So you keep going, and I'll just show you how the death part works. This is the death track here at the bottom. Let me see if I can get this down even further. Yeah, I'm trying to get as close as possible, but this is the death track. It starts out at $5.50 and goes all the way down to $50. If one of your family members die, which they will, you won't get that lucky, believe me. When they die, you will put their tombstone like this, and it will go right where they died. Matter of fact, most likely you would put it like here, so you just know, people know that you died, that person died right there. And like I said, you can always keep going. You will always mush on because your driver will never die until you get to the end of the game. So when the game is over, somebody gets to the finish line, you will score based on the life of the characters, the driver, which is like 500. It's just like kind of a counterbalance. The hitchhikers, and then I think there's minus something else, and then minus the deaths, okay? So the death, wherever they are on the track. It's a pretty easy game. It is very brutal and unforgiving. I will tell you the rule book isn't the best, but the gameplay is there. The one big thing that I didn't like necessarily, and I kind of glossed over some things like the market. You have market prices when you go into town. You can sell your parts for certain money. You can always buy and sell things, so it's always important. Thankfully, a lot of the gameplay is labeled on the tracks and on the board. So even if I miss something, I'm kind of telling you, just kind of give you an idea what the game is. This is going to be a very brutal game to most people because it is very much hit and miss, a hit and miss game. Like like what's the name? Like Oregon Trail in real life. So if I tell you, hey, you want an Oregon Trail game, an exact Oregon Trail game, I mean, this is prime for Target. I mean, this is a solid design, but it's a very brutal design. If you want a more gamey Euro game, this is going to be your game. Pioneer Days. It's not, as I say, I'm writing a review for it now, and I always want to make this clear because I can't really mention the other product. I always try to make this clear. This game is like Oregon Trail. It has features of Oregon Trail. It is in a setting like Oregon Trail, but it has a lot deeper gameplay, whereas this game is almost true to form like Oregon Trail, and I'm so fine with that too. These games are just counter of each other. I think there's actually another game that's coming out with Oregon Trail theme later on this year. I'm pretty sure. I just can't remember the name of it, but yes, there's another one coming. I will own all of these just because I like Oregon Trail stuff. That is Oregon Trail. Now, that one was not sponsored, but I think I want to show you one more bite-sized game because I know we got to get out of here, and I'm like running out of power mentally, physically. I want to show you this game because a lot of solo gamers out there are in the group, and I want to show you a nifty little game. It's by Portal Games, Portal Dragon Games. It came out on Kickstarter earlier this year, and I mean, like, I thought I was just getting like a nice little silly game, and it ended up being a lot more than that to me, more than I expected actually. Here, hold on a second, just trying to get this hand together. This is called Palm Island. Okay, Palm Island by John, what is that, Meatling of Portal Dragon Games. This is actually like a water container, by the way. And this is a literally hand management game. Now, if you saw me, was that a couple weeks ago, I was showing a game by Kenneth Shannon. He had a Mating Quest, which is an awesome in-hand management game. This one's a little bit more Euro-like. That one was more like Chase the Dragon and whatnot, and you're kind of running around and trying to dodge people and stuff like that. This is a in-hand management game. So what you're trying to do is gather resources and move up and score points. The cards have an easy free actions for most cases. You want to flip cards because they give you better items eventually. As you can see, I got a star by flipping that. And then you also can turn the cards over. So if I was over here like this, I earn 1 point. If I pay this resource, one of these two resources, I get to flip the card like that. And then these go to the back. So I'm just going to kind of fly through around here. You can look at the first two cards. So this is like a kind of a sneak peek, and you can discard. I'm just going to really fly through this. I don't have anything here, so I keep doing that. Now, when you take a card and you use it as a resource, because that was free, I put it sideways like this. So is it a little, I don't know, like I hate when people say fiddly, but it is. I'm going to use handsy, which also is pretty bad to use, but that's fine. Fine by me. Let's see here. So I don't have any of those resources. Let's see. Corey, boy, this is a bad draw of situations here. By the way, you shuffle this deck every time, so it's different every time. I may not have grabbed all the cards that are in this deck that are supposed to be in here. And you can hold up to 4 of these. So let's see, I have that wood and the fish right here. What I would do is turn them upside down, and then I can turn this upside down like that. Now, next time you see this card, it will be like this. My goal is to have all 3 of these items so I can turn it over and score points like that the next time. So I'm going to keep looking at these 2 cards and see if I can match something up. Then I see this resource here. I can also upgrade these resource cards. If you notice, they get better, okay, as I flip these over and pay the resources. Okay? And this is played over 8 rounds. So you have everything in your hand to kind of do this over 6 rounds. And then basically you count your points at the end of the game. You count your points at the end of the game. Most of them are going to be on the flip side. And you level up your cards. Easy game. I keep this game with me at all times. Since I got this game, I've had it with me all the time. One cool thing about this game, which is actually kind of not a big deal, but it actually ends up being a big deal, you can spill stuff on it. I am a spill master. These are plastic cards. Waterproof. Watch that. I just broke a law right there. I just broke gaming law right there. Okay? I broke the law. All right? So what? I did it. Get at me, bro. It was here. Okay? So you can bend those. You can get them wet. I believe Derek Funkhauser actually got one of these wets with his kid. You also have feats. So you have these different little cards in this deck here. At the end of a game, at the end of a game, you can actually discover these and use them for future games. Okay. You also have a competitive mode and you have a cooperative mode. Notice these there's also townsfolk in here. Sorry. So you have things you can defeat together. You have things you can cooperate to defeat certain things. There's a lot in here. And you know what? This game was $22 for this whole package. Okay, I think the shipping was free and everything. But you also get this nice little water container. I mean, totally not necessary. Totally for vacation. I guess if you're floating on a boat, I mean, floating in the water at your beach resort, because we all can afford that, you can have something you can play while you're out there. I don't know. I think this game is really cool. But with that, that's all the games I have for you tonight. I want to thank you all for showing up. It takes a lot to prepare for this, but I look forward to it all the time. All the time. Next week, I might actually be back on here to cover a game that seems to be pretty hot right now. It is called Root. I'm working on either Root or one of my favorite games that I'm kind of jonesing over right now. Depends on my crew, but B lives. We will only know summer. This is a worker placement game by Matt Shoemaker. This one might show up or maybe Root. You can let me know in the comments below how you feel about that. I will take 1 comment. I will take 50 comments. I will take 8 comments. I will take 17 comments. I don't care. I want to know how you feel. Please let me know. And with that, I'm signing off. My name is Jeremy. I refer to myself as Jambalaya. I have a website. I have a blog. It's called Jambalaya Plays Games. I will post reviews and all kinds of pictures and stuff. You can also find me on Twitter at JambaPG. And I just want to thank you all for spending time with me tonight. I know there's only a couple people in here now, but thank you all. Even if you stopped by for a minute, you can watch this over again, and you can head over to the Board Game Revolution page where I will load this on later on tonight. With that said, good night, party people.